So the entire fund will be used for entering this new segment. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, so it is basically a small amount of about 26 crores into the OIP segment. So broadly, the industry is into two parts: the RIP, which is relatively new technology, RIP, RIS, we call them dry bushings, and the OIP. So 26 odd crores is into the existing brownfield project for OIP expansion, and the balance is towards the RIP project.
Okay. Also, if you could just tell me, given the fact that most of your raw material is imported, I believe, right? So,
Yep.
because of the current war, did you face any issues in terms of higher cost, delayed procurement?
So not delayed procurement, but yes, there were cost escalations. Fortunately for us, we've been able to navigate through this crisis quite successfully. Some of it we've been able to pass on to our customers. Some of it we've been able to optimize through cost efficiency and optimization. And that is precisely what is reflected in our EBITDA margins, which actually went up by about 260 basis points over the previous year.
Okay. Coming back to the new segment that you just mentioned that you will be entering, how much time will it take for you to actually see this revenues realizing into the P&L account, and what is the kind of incremental revenue that you're envisaging here?
So see, right now the installation and commissioning of the plant and equipment is in process. It should take us maybe another 1.5 months at max. Then there is a type testing process that is involved. Where you when you're developing a new product, there are type tests involved, which will be parallelly, but it will take another 2 or 3 months. By end of Q3 is where we should be able to move into commercial production.
Right. Hi, Mr. Thakkar. Varsha, this side. Pleasure to have you. So you're scaling from 245 kV to 550 kV. Now, how much this expand your addressable market? Number one, and what percentage of revenue can this high voltage segment contribute? Maybe in next 2 to 3 years.
So first, to answer you, this particular addressable market for up to 420 kV or 550 kV globally, the addressable market currently, global addressable market is close to 19,000 crores. We've just touched the tip of the iceberg. We expect this to, continue to grow at about 5 to 6% over the next 5 years. Over the next 5 years, the addressable market for us will be close to 28 to 30,000 crores. Our aspiration or clear action plan, or you may call it vision, is to get to 5% of the total addressable market over the next 5 years. This translates to roughly a growth of 4 to 5x over the next 5 years.
Right. And sir, 400 crore of order book, this gives you the revenue visibility. I get that point. But how much of this can convert in FY27?
So this entire order book, and of course, we've added a lot more order book over the last 2.5 months also. We have our order book, which will take care of our, invoicing numbers for the next 15 to 18 months.
So, no, I get that point. I just wanted to understand the 400 current order book that you have. How much of this will be executed in FY27?
Oh, almost the entire thing.
Okay. So
whatever we are adding is over, splitting to the next financial year.
Okay, so we can consider that 400 crores of odd revenue you can achieve in FY27. Am I right?
Last year we grew at about 57% year on year. We would definitely, would want to maintain a higher growth rate than what we already did last year.
Understood. And so what about margins? Currently, you almost 24% of EBITDA margins that you have. Is there any possibility of inching up this margin, or you'll be maintaining this kind of margins?
So see, Varsha, how it works is that today, we are importing our course, which is, bulk of our imports is the basic or the active part, as we call it. Now, once we start indigenization of this process, one is that, you definitely save on the margins of the vendor. Then you have a reduction in your freight, foreign exchange. All this translates to definitely a margin expansion, but not in the current financial year. We see the margin expansion kicking in from probably a year and a half or 2 years later. And that is where we would be able to see a margin expansion of at least 4 to 5%.
Understood. And sir, everything for you, at least, or rather, I would say investors are actually betting on RIP localization. Now, if what can go wrong here? I mean, is it customer approvals which will get delayed? Or will that push out your revenue? What are the execution risks, if you could highlight it for us?
So see, this is a new technology. We've been making up to 245 kV, and now we are venturing into the 550 kV segment. So there is definitely a technology enhancement. To mitigate that risk, we have onboarded a Swiss partner who's our technology partner. The agreement or the engagement with the Swiss partner is to help us develop the complete product range for the 550 kV and successfully commercialize this into production. When you are entering any new segment or any new product development, we understand there'll be teething issues, those small glitches, but the management is very confident and, we will be able to overcome these glitches.
Okay. So coming back to the revenue potential or the revenue expectation that one can have for FY27, I believe you have around a capacity of around 15,000 units annually. So at a peak utilization level, what is the kind of revenue that Yash High Voltage could generate?
See, generally, we don't measure our capacity in units because, I may be able to manufacture more number of units for a lower kV class. The moment it goes into a higher kV class, for instance, a 400 or a 550 kV, the per unit realization is grows up multifold. So we measure our capacity in terms of revenue. With this expansion, our installed capacity for RIP bushings goes up to a turnover of 900 odd crores, plus an additional about 125 crores in OIP segment.
Great.
So total installed capacity of 1,000 odd crores is something that we get into.
Great. Also just wanted to understand something on your customer front. I believe currently you might be having all the big names like Power Grid, CG Power or Transformers and Rectifiers as your clients. But usually how much time does it take for a new player to get onboarded in the list for these clients? What is the wait time period, and are you looking to add more clients?
So one is, yes, of course, on the client front, we constantly, want to keep adding new clients so that, we don't have that concentration risk on a few customers. Second, on the, the biggest entry barrier in our industry is not the investment. It is basically, the approvals from the end user. Okay, and it is really a long gestation period. Yash High Voltage as a company also took about 5 to 7 years, to get all these approvals in place. And that is why I say today we are in that sweet spot where we have the approvals, we are well accepted in the market. We have created a visibility in the market as a reliable component provider for the transformer industry. So you really don't see you might be able to see a lot of transformer companies adding capacity and a lot of new players, not only in India, but globally,
right,
who are entering the transformer space, but you don't really see a lot of bushing players. There are a handful of them. The segment that we are into, we don't have more than 8 or 10 players globally.
Right. And sir, quickly just wanted to understand one single thing. Copper, I believe, is the single largest raw material for the company. And over the last 1 year, we have seen a massive increase. Is that, can you pass on this cost to your clients?
Like I said, not completely to the client. I mean, we would not want to put our clients also, bear the entire burden of the increase in raw material cost. Some of it we've been able to pass on. Some of it we've been able to, optimize through cost efficiency measures. And that impact is quite visible in our EBITDA margins for the year.
Well, thank you, sir. Thank you for joining us and giving us the way forward for Yash High Voltage. Avinash, quickly your view on the stock.
No, I think, Swamit, this is a very strong structural growth story, and I think it's a bet on the power sector. The kind of product Yash Voltage makes, I think, has made a lot of prominent marquee investors come and invest in the preferential issue. So I think, the numbers for 27 are also going to be equally strong. Of course, valuations are not cheap. They are fair to expensive. But I think over the next, say, 12 to 18 months, we expect that, the risk reward can definitely be good. I think one can definitely look at buying this stock on declines.
Right, thank you, Avinash. Thank you for joining us and giving us your perspectives on the stocks that we discussed. Well, with that, it's a wrap on this edition of Small Cap Bazaar. Stay tuned and keep watching NDTV Profit.
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
अंबर शक्ति प्लांट की वर्ल्ड रेनाउंड टेक्नोलॉजी देती है स्टील को ज्यादा ताकत हर बार। अंबर शक्ति SDTMT।
India's unshakable news habit. NDTV.com is India's #1 English news website.
Hi, I'm Tamanna Inamdar. Watch me on NDTV Profit, where I break down the day's biggest business stories. What happened, why it matters, and what it means for your money.
Hi, I'm Neeraj Shah. Watch me on NDTV Profit for the most incisive market intelligence and meaningful corporate conversation.
And I'm Alex Matthew. Markets, mutual funds, insurance, personal finance. I help you cut through the noise and make smarter financial choices. And here's where you can watch us.
The news, Ayush. Since when do we do scripts? Fair point. Picture this. The biggest stage. Floodlights. Wow. 4K, the works. Where's the hook? There's going to be celebrities and guaranteed eyeballs. Where's the hook? Think about this. Front page advertisements and hoardings. Bro, where's the hook? Cross-platform, digital first, virality. Without a hook, no way. The message is clear. It's 2026. You gotta be real in a world of reels. You gotta be original in a world where everything seems generated. That's it. That's what we're looking for. The best campaigns, the hottest trends, the smartest brand moves on our new show. But wait, what do we call it? The hook.
He has been tracking markets for over a decade, spots the trends before they hit the screen. And he is now bringing his analysis to the show that the market watches. Watch Sharad Dubey on Know Your Company, a show that puts the most traded stocks under the scanner. We dissect the company so that you, the investor, don't have to. Get the management to answer questions relevant to you. Watch Know Your Company weekdays at 11:30 a.m. to understand your next big bet. When the headlines move fast, perspective matters. On Editor's Cut, our editors come together with experts to distill the week's information blitz into clear perspective. Down the stories shaping the world, from markets and the economy to global conflicts and what lies ahead. This is where experience meets insight. No noise, no hype, just sharp takes on what to watch next. Editor's Cut, every Friday, 3:30 p.m. only on NDTV Profit.
Welcome back. You're watching Ask Profit here at NDTV Profit. I'm Mahima Vachajani and with me is Puneet Zaveri. And the mood of the market has completely changed since we last spoke, right, at 10:30. Unfortunately, we've slipped way below the 24,000 levels, now even below the 23,900 levels, currently trading at 23,870 odd levels and almost 1% of a downtick is what we've seen on the benchmarks. And largely, we're seeing a follow through in terms of sell-off because of the way global markets have also performed, right? There's COPSI, which is down almost 9%, Japan, which saw a downtick of around 3%, Taiwan, which saw a downtick of around 1.5%, and that is being reflected in Indian markets as well. Let's try to pull up the heat map as well and see as to what are the counters and what has changed there. Now we have the metal packs which is dominating the sell side, and unfortunately, while we were seeing a good healthy advanced decline ratio on the Nifty 50, now it's just a few counters which are in the green and the rest of the chart is in the red, and lot of sell-off in the metal names is what we're seeing. JSW Steel, Hindalco, Tata Steel, all of these counters down 3% each, plus your IT also contributing to that lower levels. You have Infosys, Wipro, TCS all down in that range of 3% again each. Tata Motors is also something which is down by about 3% and I think Puneet will be in a better position to tell you as to what has gone wrong here. But with regards to sectors also, like I said, IT and metals is where the real pressure is. Let's try to pull up the heat map and see. Pharma still holding up by about 1%, followed by the healthcare. Otherwise, all your sectors are in the red. PSU banks also now tanking almost 2%. Media also seeing downtick of around 1.7%. Energy, bank, etc. All of those names in the red. But in terms of where the broader end of spectrum goes, let's try to pull up the advanced decline ratio to see as to where that ratio stands, because we were even Stevens in the morning, but right now completely on a different level, and that gap is widening unfortunately by the hour. You have around 2,000 odd declines versus that of 600 odd advances. So that's the kind of pressure in the broad end of spectrum as well, because the mid cap 150 is down by about 1%, the small cap 250 is down by about 0.7 odd percent, both trading at their day's lower point. So that's the mood of the market right now. But let's start taking all your stock related questions, and to answer them we're joined by Tapan Doshi, research analyst at Tapan.in, and Kunal Shah, senior technical and derivative analyst at Mirae Asset Sharekh Khan, joining us now. Welcome to both of you gentlemen and a very good afternoon to you. I'll start by taking the first question, which is from MM Kapoor, who's writing us from Lucknow. He's got 33 odd shares of SBI that is bought at the levels of 1100. Wants to know whether he can continue to hold this one or sell. Kunal, a very good afternoon to you. I'll come to you on this one. What are the charts indicating?
Good afternoon. Good afternoon to everyone. So I think overall SBI looks positive on the long-term charts. So I think again continue to hold it. Now from a short-term perspective, if you look at it, the support is at 980, 990, and that has been a very strong support for SBI. And I'm expecting this to move towards 1080 on the upside.
Got that view, Kunal. But let's take another question now, and this one's on Pace Digitech. Now, Dilip, stocks actually buzzing in trade today as well, up almost 8.5% and continuing to do so. Yesterday, the company put out its investor presentation, also some targets given, and market is taking it with both hands at this point of time. He is holding shares, Dilip is holding shares at 1090. Stocks actually trading sub 200. So I hope he means 196 and not 1096. but he wants to know if it's a good time to add more at this point of time. Tapan, that big update coming in for the company yesterday, probably boosting the shares. Very good afternoon to you. What's your view on the stock now?
Yeah, good afternoon, Puneet. Yes, no, quite an aggressive guidance. And if you see order book, execution is the key now. They have more than 8,000 crore of order and already, best manufacturing ramp up they are going to do. The only thing is the working capital stress will be there. Their energy business is also scaling quite good. Though we have to see how the debt they are going to handle and the interest cost and all that. But somehow I feel that it is a fast growing infrastructure player. So one can hold to this stock. Yes, if he wants to buy around 190, he can start entering again.
All right, the next one that we have is on GE Shipping. Sarthak Pathak from Mumbai has bought it at the levels of 1641. He says that it's seen a lot of correction in the past week. Continue to hold or sell? Kunal, your view on the charts? This is GE Shipping that I'm talking about.
I think continue to hold the stock on the weekly charts. The 20 DMA has been defended, so one can continue to hold with a stop loss of 1352 on the downside.
Okay, all right. The next one that we have is coming in on Bot India. Our viewer DJ Rao from Hyderabad is holding 50 odd shares at the levels of 26,125. Wants to know if he can continue to hold or book a loss. He says he's got no time constraint. Tapan, any view on this one? He's sitting on a loss of around 26,000 rupees.
Wait for one more quarter. No, they are good in chronic therapies, and that is only driving the growth. Premium healthcare demand is rising. That is where company will benefited, and no new launches are also coming. The thing is, there is a limited export diversification, but they have high ROC and cash-rich balance sheet. So yeah, please hold for one more quarter.
Okay. All right. The next one that we have is coming in and this is on Aventil. Ravi from Hyderabad has purchased Aventil at the levels of 174. Currently, let's try to pull up the stock and see where it's trading at 171, and he wants to know as to what should be the view in the near future. Kunal, any view on the charts for Aventil?
I think for Aventil, even if you look at a daily chart, it has been trading in a heart of high bottom formation. With the markets correcting, it could come to a dip towards 160. If it gets a close below 160, then exit your long.
Okay. All right. The next one that we have is coming in on Heritage Foods, and this is from Sri Krishna, who's writing us from Bengaluru. He's holding this at the levels of 415. 100 shares is what he's holding. He wants to know if he can accumulate more. Tapan, any view on this or the entire space that it operates in, the dairy space? Because, in the last couple of months, we've seen that value-added products is what it's leading the growth in all of these names.
Yeah, totally agree with value-added products is growing actually, and the web share also increasing steadily. The distribution for this company is going good now. The only thing is a lot of competition is then milk price volatility risk is also there. Again, it's a margin sensitive sector. So I wait for some time, but still I think maybe 10-15% upside in this year is there. Currently hold on to this stock.
Okay, all right. The next one that we have, by the way, for viewers who are just tuning in, you can also give us a call on the number that will be flashing on your screen up there. Call us, ask your query live. The next question that we have is from Utkarsh, who's asking about Lotus Developers. He's bought it at the levels of 176 and he wants to know whether he can continue to hold this one from a slightly long-term perspective. This is 3 Lotus Developers that he's talking about, and his buying quantity is very high, 6,500 Tapan is what he's holding. But any view on this one and of course the entire space of realty?
I'm quite little positive on this sector overall. And again, luxury real estate is cyclical in nature, so one has to keep that in mind. But I think in 27 revenue growth, maybe around, that is what company is saying, that more than 50%. Even pre-sales momentum is quite good. It is a asset-light redevelopment model. So I hold on to this stock. I think you can add it more once it goes down, but yes, hold on.
Okay, all right. The next one that we have is on NCC. Satyan has been holding this since a year at the levels of 220. He wants to know whether he can continue to hold this from a long-term perspective, short-term perspective, and whether he can average at the current levels. Kunal, what are the views on the charts, and do you think it makes sense to average at the current levels?
So I think not to average at the current levels, but he can continue to hold the stock here. 140 is now has become the immediate bottom for the stock. Till the time that is not breached on the downside, the view remains positive. And on the weekly chart, if it surpasses 170 on the upside, then one can start averaging for the stock, looking for higher targets of at least 230 to 40 on the upside.
Okay, all right. The next one is on Sharda Cropchem. Preeti from Raipur is sitting on a loss of 11% is what she's saying. She's not given us the quantity or the buying price, but she wants to know if she can continue to remain invested or shift to something else. Kunal, what would you recommend?
I would recommend continue to hold. Now 850, 860 is a very strong demand zone. If that is breached, then the fall would be steeper. Currently trading at 888. And even if you get a bounce towards 1050, 1100, that could be an exit opportunity.
All right. Okay. The next one that we have is on Urban Company. Achint Nagel is asking this question, and he's holding Urban Company since the price of 143. Wants a view on this one from a slightly short-term perspective, but Kunal, enough data on the charts to give a perspective on Urban Company?
Yeah, I think yes, from a short-term perspective, yes, you can continue to hold with a stop of 129 and can look to see the up move continuing towards 143, 144 on the upside.
The next one is on Gaudium IVF, a recent, fairly recent listing. Akshat wants to know if this is a good time to make an entry into this one. Tapan, it's had its fair share of gains, but it's also corrected a tad bit. But what would you recommend from a long-term perspective? Do you think it's a good counter to continue to hold?
See, currently, we have to see more 1 or 2 quarter more here. If you see the IVF industry is going by 15+%, a new center they are planning. Again, the patient's volume is increasing. Only thing is that geographical concentration risk is there. But I think asset-light fertility clinic model normally does well. So my take is please hold on to this stock.
Got it. Let's take the next question now. That's coming on Transrail Lighting. This one's from Suman from Kolkata. He's holding on to shares at 534, asking if he should continue to hold on for the next 6 months. Kunal, the stock has been a rank outperformer over the last few months. Is there any chance to come back if to 534, and should he continue to hold still after that?
Yeah, I think definitely continue to hold now. I think 450, 460 on the chart looks a good bottom that has been made, and the immediate hurdle for the stock is at 530, 540. Once that is taken out, you can see a good move on the upside towards 560, 570. So.
Okay, all right. I think we've got a caller. Uday is calling us from Bangalore. Uday, very good afternoon to you. Go ahead, ask your question.
300, 150 shares.
Okay.
On the long-term perspective.
Okay, I got your question, Uday. Zaggle is the one that Uday is talking about. Tapan, any view on this one? Because, there's no stop to falling for this particular counter, but what would you recommend? Should he continue and book his losses, or what should he do?
See, that is a problem. It's not coming up, even though sales and profitability is okay. Again, the only problem here is the enterprise spending in sensitivity is there. Again, the margin volatility is much more. Again, competition from fintech is too much. Even though it is an asset-light model, I think, this is a stock he should get out once it is on a rise.
Got that view, Tapan. The next one coming in on Z Entertainment. Our viewer Siva is holding shares at 119 rupees per share. Let's also look at the year-to-date chart, because there's been a sharp reversal over the last 2 to 3 months, but Siva is still sitting in losses of almost 33,000, and there you go, almost a 30% jump. Now, Kunal, of course, a lot of this up move has been led because the company got, the FIFA deal, and hence I think the premium subscription for ZEE5 has gone through on the fundamental side of things. Charts, there's the move to continue? Can the stock come back to 119, that's the buying price, and should he continue after that?
Yeah, I think definitely continue to hold. I think the 97, 98, the hurdle which has been taken out from there onwards on the weekly chart also, we are now seeing the high top, high bottom formation forming into the stock. So clearly the trend has changed for the stock. You might see some volatility and dips there, but overall I feel positionally the stock can go at least towards 145, 150 on the upside.
Okay, the next one is on Suzlon Energy. Our viewers bought it at the levels of 57. Wants to know whether he can continue to hold, sell. What should be the short-term targets for this one? Kunal, your view?
I think for short term, the bottom has been made at around 54, 55. So that should not be breached on the downside. And once the move continues on the upside, the stock can at least go towards the mark of 65, 70 in the very short term.
Got that view, Kunal. But Interarc Building Solutions, let's pull up that counter as well. Got some order wins, I think today morning itself and has been buzzing post that. Has sold off from the highs, but, Harvinder Bhatia is holding these shares at 2,263. So he's got it at some elevated levels. But Tapan, stocks I think run up from that 1,000 to 2,200 and then seen some correction. Should he still continue to hold this counter because he's holding 1,100 shares, so sitting in massive losses right now? What's your view?
No, currently hold it, no, because if you see the industrial capex cycle is supportive, order inflow is also healthy, capacity expansion is already going on, and again the warehousing demand is also accelerating. The only problem with this company is the project execution delay is possible. But as the manufacturing growth is that this company will benefit, valuation is little bit on a higher side, but still I will wait for 1 or 2 quarter more. Don't try to book losses now.
Okay, all right. So that's the view on Interarc. But time for our rapid fire round. Kunal and Tapan, you both know the drill. We've got our first question from Pramesh, who's writing us from Hyderabad, asking about HDFC Bank. He's bought it at the levels of 868. 170 is the quantity. Kunal, what should he do? Continue to hold?
Hold with a stop loss of 740.
The next one, Tapan, this one's between Paras Defense and Data Patterns. Ishwar wants to enter the defense space. Is there a good entry price or are they slightly more expensive? What's your top pick?
No, both are quite expensive. Wait for a dip, at least 10-15% down from here.
Okay, BLS International, is it a good buy at the current rate? Vishwanatha Reddy from Andhra Pradesh wants to know this. Your view on this, Kunal?
No, only buy about 280.
Got it. The next question, coming in now, and this one's on Laurus Labs, bought at 365. This is very attractive levels. Tapan, up almost 4 times now. Should he still, of course, continue to hold?
Yeah, congratulations to him. Yeah, please hold it. I think CDMO business will do well. Please hold it.
Okay, the next one is on SW Solar. Shankar from Bengaluru wants to purchase around 500 shares for the next 2 odd months. And what should be the target price? Kunal, any view?
Sorry, for Sterling Winston, I think continue to hold at the current levels. 230, 235 has been a strong base for the stock and extend towards 280.
Okay.
The next one coming in now, it's on M&M. Sashant is holding shares at 3134. I think he seems to have bought it for the short term. So Kunal, what's the view on the stock now?
See, I think M&M has been consolidating. In fact, the entire auto space is consolidating. So one can continue to hold with a stop loss of 2985.
Okay, the next one that we have is a fairly short, small name, Kunal. It's Vidya Wires. Our viewer Mahadev from Hyderabad has bought 1,000 shares at the levels of 108. From a 3 months perspective, any view on the charts?
See, I think overall the data is less since it's recently listed, but I think overall the support for the stock is at 95. Till the time it is holding this level, continue.
And Paisalo Digital, also smaller name, Kunal, bought at 59 rupees by a viewer. His name is Utkarsh and he wants to know what should he do with his 6,000 odd shares that he's holding. Stock's trading at a similar level. Any view on the charts though?
I think yes, looking positive. Continue to hold with a stop loss of 51.
Okay. The next one is from Puneet Saxena, who's writing us from Ghaziabad, asking about Vedanta. He wants a 3 to 4 months view on this particular counter. Kunal, what would you recommend?
Not at the current levels. I think metals could see some further correction, so not at the current levels to enter the stock.
Raja from Chennai, who's a regular viewer, has bought shares into, I think he's holding Dish TV for a while now and holding shares at 18. Now, Tapan, I think the company is just, blown off the radar essentially. So should he just exit at the next opportunity? What's your view?
100% exit.
Okay, the next one that we have is on JK Tires. Our viewer wants an input on this one. He's a long-term investor and wants to know if this is the right time to make an entry. Tapan?
Yeah, so in SIP manner.
In SIP manner, okay, got it. The next one, Jubilant Foodworks. Our viewer is holding 50 shares of the company but has been in the loss over the last couple of years. Tapan, he's not mentioned his buying price, but stock's at a lower level now compared to the historical evidence. Is it still worth holding on to?
Currently hold.
Okay, the next one is on MRPL. Naga from Hyderabad is bought at the level of 170. 176 shares is what he has. 6 months view on this one, Kunal?
See, I think overall exit, the stock has been trading in a downtrend, and if 150 is breach on the downside, then can see some further selling pressure.
Next one's on NHPC, bought at 82 by Prashant from Lucknow, and he wants to know, Kunal, if he should continue to hold this counter. He's sitting on a loss and holding 2,200 shares.
Hold with a stop loss of 72.
Got it. Well, that was the last question of the rapid fire in this edition of Ask Profit. Tapan as well as Kunal, thanks so much for helping us solve all these stock-related queries over the last half an hour or so. We solved 32 of them, taking the grand total to 88 queries in the morning and the afternoon edition. So thanks so much to our guests. Thanks so much to you viewers writing in to us as well. But stay tuned. India Market Close comes up next.
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
अंबा शक्ति प्लांट की वर्ल्ड रेनाउंड टेक्नोलॉजी देती है स्टील को ज्यादा ताकत हर बार। अंबा शक्ति SDTMT,
India's unshakable news habit. NDTV.com is India's #1 English news website.
Hi, I'm Tamanna Inamdar. Watch me on NDTV Profit, where I break down the day's biggest business stories. What happened, why it matters, and what it means for your money.
Hi, I'm Neeraj Shah. Watch me on NDTV Profit for the most incisive market intelligence and meaningful corporate conversations.
And I'm Alex Matthew. Markets, mutual funds, insurance, personal finance. I help you cut through the noise and make smarter financial choices. And here's where you can watch us.
The news, Ayush. Since when do we do scripts? Fair point. Picture this. The biggest stage. Floodlights. Wow. 4K. The works. Where's the hook? There's going to be celebrities and guaranteed eyeballs. Where's the hook? Think about this. Front page advertisements and hoardings. Bro, where's the hook? Cross-platform, digital first, virality. Without a hook, no way. The message is clear. It's 2026. You gotta be real in a world of reels. You gotta be original in a world where everything seems generated. That's it. That's what we're looking for. The best campaigns, the hottest trends, the smartest brand moves on our new show. But wait, what do we call it? The hook.
He has been tracking markets for over a decade, spots the trends before they hit the screen. And he is now bringing his analysis to the show that the market watches. Watch Sharad Dubey on Know Your Company, a show that puts the most traded stocks under the scanner. We dissect the company so that you, the investor, don't have to. Get the management to answer questions relevant to you. Watch Know Your Company weekdays at 11:30 a.m. to understand your next big bet. When the headlines move fast, perspective matters. On Editor's Cut, our editors come together with experts to distill the week's information plates into clear perspective. Down the stories shaping the world, from markets and the economy to global conflicts and what lies ahead. This is where experience meets insight.
Hi, thanks so much for joining in. You're watching NDTV Profit and this is India Market Close. I have one song for you and the start of the song is Ye Kya Hua?
I know you're flaunting your singing skills, which I don't have, but
You wanna
kaise
sing?
hua is
There
the
you go.
question. I can just talk
That is
about
the question.
it, right?
Why don't you have an answer?
I mean, I think it's profit booking also that we are seeing because we've surged beyond that 23,400 mark. Now, the key over here, Alex, is that 24,000 was one of the key resistance levels a couple of days ago. Moved to support. Now, the moment you're seeing something which is going up has to come down, obviously.
Yeah.
But with that, if you talk about what's happening in terms of the US-Iran deal as well, everyone's talking about the deal is done, but what's happening actually no one knows. So there is that fragility that continues to stay, at least from the geopolitical front, and I think that's what people are not really ready for. So any surge that they are seeing, they're booking profits.
So that's a good point, and I think it must also, we should also talk about the broader markets. Pull up the mid-cap index and the small-cap index just to round things out because the market breadth has cracked very dramatically from this point, right? So 0.8% for the mid-cap index, small-cap index down about 0.4% and climbing. I wonder where we'll end this hour. But what Hiral is pointing out, particularly for the broader markets, is so true because I was looking at it, 7 days on the trot of gains for the mid-cap and the small-cap indices. And if you look at it from the 1st of April, Hiral, 18% gains for the mid-cap index, 25% gains for the small-cap index. There you go. So just 1 month is 5.95%. But if you look at from April, there you go. This is the small-cap index, 25%. So it's bound to happen.
And especially when there is no major certainty that we're looking at as well, and everyone is watching out for the first quarter commentary now in terms of the impact, right? Now look at the heat map in terms of Nifty 50 as well, if you can just pull up that one on the screens, and then we look at the sectoral heat map. It is mainly your pharma names, but that is also reacting to news, right? Shortage in terms of cancer drugs in the US, which is not really translated into business for them. It's an opportunity for them on the back of which you're seeing pharma names which are moving higher. You have the auto pack which has started to catch up right now. Eicher Motors, Maruti,
but small
Axis
gains.
Bank. It's marginal gains. Axis Bank as well. I mean, but apart from that, look at the metal pack.
There's a reason for that to take place, right? Specifically for the aluminium players, Hindalco, Nalco, even Vedanta are losing ground because aluminium prices have come off.
And you have steel prices also which have corrected substantially, right? So overall, because of that correction that's coming in terms of where actual, metals go, that's having an impact in terms of the metal names. In fact, we spoke to Rakesh Arora, if you remember, and he was of the opinion that book profits in terms of the metal names, and that's exactly what is happening right now. IT, similar story, right? It's seen some marginal gains. I think people who would have entered at a later stage, if they're seeing anything positive, they're booking profits here. And it's a global sell-off again.
Yesterday, it was the one sector that was doing reasonably well through most of the session. But I think you saw the first inklings of that selling even in trade yesterday because we came off quite substantially from the high point. We ended with gains of 0.7% for the IT index. But take a look at the metal index, 3.5% at this point. Pharma, as you pointed out, is the one gainer. Nothing else.
And even from the consumption basket, if you go to see, I mean, you're not really seeing any sharp moves because the anticipation was that probably there will be some bit of gains coming in there. But there you go, consumer durables is down a little over 1% as we speak. Energy under pressure. Nifty Bank down 1%. Defense also seeing that profit booking after that good surge that is coming. Real estate is what I want to see. There you go. 0.6%. Not come off that much as compared to the gains that we've seen.
Consumer durables as well. There's an interesting story here because we spoke to the management, remember, of Blue Star
Correct.
this morning. And what they were saying, Mr. Tyagarajan, and he's always very forthright about everything with regard to the outlook as well, right? So he was talking about the fact, Hiral, that your sales have been decent, but they've not been able to pass on prices completely. He said that 8% was required to be passed on. Only 5% was managed, so 3% is still pending.